Hello all, this is Barbara Mann from Your Empowered You, and welcome to our video on you've mastered your job or your role. Now what? What's our next step? So in this video, we're going to talk about some of those feelings that we may have after we've mastered our job or our role, and kind of what those next steps might be after we've sort of mastered that job or that role. So, some of the feelings that employees had, including myself, is you've spent a lot of time in a job or a particular role, and you have pretty much mastered it. You've learned a lot, you've overcome challenges, and really it's a hats off and a congratulations to you that you've actually gotten to this point where you've mastered the role. You're probably seen as a subject matter expert. You've probably had challenges that you had to overcome in the past. And even though there are things that are presented your way, you know that you're always going to get through them, and you're not learning as much as you'd like. It's kind of that feeling that you can do the role in your sleep, that it's just pretty much easy. It's easy for you. It may not be easy for other people, but to you it's easy. And you're just kind of going through the motions, and it's the same thing day in and day out. You kind of know the feeling that I'm talking about. Though, a lot of times though, when people get to this point, they get a little irritable because, it's just boring. They're not engaged. They get a little restless. These are things that I've seen when people really have mastered that role. They become a little unfulfilled. Again, people like to learn. They like to be challenged. And you may have feelings like you want to quit your job, or, you're just sort of like looking out there and getting kind of a little cranky. So what are those next steps when you sort of have those feelings? Well, there's one or two choices that you can make. One is you can allow yourself to go down the same path. And a lot of people do this. A lot of people they master the job. It's pretty easy to them. And sometimes, maybe you do want an easy job. Maybe something's going on in your personal life that you want your job to be easy. But, if you continue down that, sometimes you get a little cranky at work, and again, it's people like the challenge. They like to learn. Sometimes this leads to, quitting a job and looking for another position in another company. And even though a new job might be fun at first, because you're learning you're learning the environment, you're meeting new people, but then you kind of get back to the feeling once you've mastered it again. It's the same old job, same old role. You get, kind of bored again, kind of cranky, kind of irritable. And so it may not solve the real root of the problem. The root of the problem is you probably need new challenges, like real challenges. The other thing is, if you continue down the path and not really seek out, those challenges, you may lose confidence that you're able to really take on those challenges. So think about, you're in something for such a long time that you may think, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I could take on new challenges or learn new things. You risk that also feeling of being unsuccessful. You've been very successful in, say, a role or a job, and you don't want to feel unsuccessful. You're not going to be an expert like you're used to, and maybe you don't want to ask for assistance. So the longer you kind of stay in that status quo mode of you've mastered it and there's really not a lot else that you can learn in the role, you may start losing the confidence, because again, these things become a mindset of learning and growing and constantly taking on challenges. But it's imperative, and that is where what we're gonna talk about next is the other alternative to just sitting there. This is your time to take on new challenges and opportunities. When we start getting restless and feeling that mastery of our own position, it's really our time, our cue, to take on new challenges, new opportunities. And that could look like, a new project. It could look like a new role within the company, taking on additional responsibilities. Maybe it's volunteer efforts. Maybe it's identifying a solution. Maybe it's additional education, outside education. Whatever the case may be, it's something that's telling you, hey, I'm ready for something more. And it's most likely it's within your own organization. This doesn't mean that you need to quit your job and look for something else. Maybe it is. A lot of times it isn't. It's right in your own backyard. So be creative. Don't quit your job for new opportunities. Be creative. If you don't see it right in front of you, create it. There are opportunities to be created out there. Make sure your management is aware of how you feel. Do not assume that they know or they should know. Now, if you're having regular meetings with your manager, say, each month, hopefully you're communicating this and they know. But if you're not having those regular meetings, don't assume that they know or that they should know. You need to communicate, communicate, communicate. I can't stress that enough. Managers don't always know how their employees feel. So make sure that your manager is aware, or management is aware of how you're feeling. Let them know what you've accomplished. Let them know that you're ready for additional opportunities, or maybe you've seen something that you want to do a process improvement project around. You let them know, hey, I see this. I want to help out. I want to lead this. Whatever the case may be. But again, be ready for the challenges. Be ready for learning. Be ready for growing. Be ready for that. You may not be the subject matter expert. You may make mistakes, just like you probably did in your previous role. But this is all part of growing, and again, you'll start to master it again. It may take time, but you'll get to that mastery level again, and you're going to repeat that sort of step. So stay curious. Always stay curious. When you stay curious in your job or even outside the workplace, you don't get bored. You don't get that restless feeling. Stay curious. Start seeing things. Create opportunities. There are endless opportunities to expand ourselves. Do not wait to be asked either. If you wait to be asked, you're probably in that pool of people who get a little restless because they're thinking, well, I should be asked to do additional projects. Do not wait to be asked. Take charge. Take charge of your own career path, your own career development, and your own engagement. If your manager asks you to do things, that's great. But if they don't, make sure that they're facilitating that conversation with you and facilitating opportunities. And if that's not happening, again, create your own. Just say, hey, I'd like to do this, or I want to do this, or I see this kind of area that needs improvement. I want to be part of the solution. They will love that. Trust me, any manager is going to love that. Now, when you do these things, obviously you still need to meet the minimum expectations of your own job. But what I'm assuming is you're pretty darn good at that job and can probably do it in your sleep, where you can take on these additional opportunities. But I can't stress a couple of things enough. Don't assume that people know how you feel, and don't wait to be asked. This is your career path, your development, your engagement. Make sure you take accountability for that. There's ample opportunities, and if you communicate this to your manager, the world will open up for you, and you're probably going far in the organization because most people don't do this. This is rare to see this by employees, but the ones who do this are the ones who really open up those endless opportunities inside the organization. So, hope you enjoyed our short video on what you can do next after you mastered your role. And for additional resources or to schedule a session with me, please visit my website at www.yourimpoweredyou.com. You can email me at bman@yourimpoweredyou.com, or you can call me at 916-633-2555. And I thank you very much and have a very empowered day.